Hello, authors, book lovers, and storytellers. Welcome to another Reader's Magnet featured author interview. My name is Mark, and I am your host for today. With me is one of the Reader's Magnet featured authors that is here with us to share his journey as an author and to tell us more about his book titled 101 Things New Parents Should Know, Need to Know. Again, let me read that. That's 101 things new parents need to know that hospitals won't tell them. We have author Chris Erlendsson. Hi, Chris. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, Mark?
I'm doing great. I'm really happy that you are with us right now, Chris. I really can't wait to talk more about your book, and I really find your book very interesting, and I really can't wait to know more about it. But before we do that, Chris, I want you to introduce yourself first.
So I'm Chris Erlendsson. I'm the author of 101 Things New Parents Need to Know That Hospitals Won't Tell Them, and a few others as well. I'm a husband here in Tennessee, father that runs a local nonprofit helping out cancer patients. So just a little taste of what I do and who I am. And
Mhm. All right, thank you so much for that, Chris. Let us start with the first questions I have prepared for you for this session. Okay,
sure.
so my first question is that can you please tell us what the book is all about?
So it's a comical way to look at parenting. You know,
Mhm.
we all when you get your first child, you have no idea what's going on, and everybody's like, "Man, I wish these things came with handbooks, a
Yeah,
manual of
yeah,
some sort."
manual.
And
Yeah, actually.
and I've heard that for most of my life that there is no manual when it comes to raising kids, and it
Hmm.
was just an idea that it's like, "Huh, I wonder how I can do this." And it was going to be 100 things you needed to know, and as I was writing it, another one popped into the mix. I'm like, okay, we'll go 101 things. And so that was how it kind of got started. It was just let's see what we can do, and what kind of information we can put out there for everybody. So
Yeah, actually, I'm curious. Why 101, Chris? I mean, where did it come from? I mean, are you copying something or like a reference for of something?
no, it was all strictly from my head. I did talk to other parents and things like that to see
Oh,
what
wow.
input they would give to a new parent if they had no children whatsoever. Those new teenage moms or newly married couples that just have nobody that can say, "Hey, this is how you raise a kid." And
Mm-hmm.
so it wasn't all my ideas. There's one talking
Mm-hmm.
about
Mm-hmm.
like breastfeeding and Star Wars and stuff, and I would have no clue about that as I'm a male
Uh-huh.
and never had that. So
Actually,
um,
yeah.
yeah, so definitely I took it from other people as well. And it was one of those things that I would just ask parents that I knew that had kids for a while and say, "Hey, if you were going to talk to a new parent, what advice would you give them?" And some of
Mhm.
them were duplicated, so I kind of cut them out and just put it in there once, so you weren't reading the same thing over and over again. So
Oh, wow. So you actually gathered all information for our, upcoming new parents, and then you made one book for that. That's really amazing, Chris. Now, I'm just wondering. I mean, among all of the topics and context that you can write, why this? What inspired you to write this one?
so I'm glad that my daughter is now 13, and there
Hmm.
was just a like when I got her, there was nothing that I could do. There was books that you could read during pregnancy. There was books that you could read as they're growing up, but there was nothing for that initial coming out. Like as soon as you get
Hmm.
released, and they literally just handed me my daughter and said, "Good luck." And it's like I think that we need to prepare parents a little bit more. And so it was just
Actually.
one of those things. I knew what I went through and things that my daughter had did, and I was calling people all the time, like, "Is this what's supposed to happen? Like, are we sure about this?" And
Hmm.
so it was just one of those things that's like, "Hey, why not?" So
Now, I'm curious. I mean, I believe others can actually research few um information about how parenting works, but like, what do you think makes your book different, and what will your readers take away after reading your book or your manual?
so my book encompasses a lot of different areas. It's
Mm-hmm.
not just dedicated towards one specific thing, and
Mm-hmm.
I do take it from, and I bring a lot of information from other places into one little spot. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's not just, oh, do this, do that kind of book. It's actually
Mm-hmm.
just that. hey, these are things that are going to happen that are not major things that you cannot stress about. And so I wanted to take a little bit of that stress off of new parents because
Oh,
being a new parent anyway is stressful enough. And you don't need the extra added weight of the world saying, "Oh, you shouldn't do that." And then, even in
mm-hmm.
one of my points is at the end of the day, it's their kid. They're going to do what's best for that kid, no matter who tells them
Exactly.
what to do, And
Mm-hmm.
I wanted it to be more comical. I didn't want it to be a serious medical
Too
journal or
serious.
anything like that. I
Mm-hmm.
I deal with cancer patients, so I take life as it is, and there's nothing that is so serious I can't find a positive thing about it. And so I want people to laugh a little bit and loosen up and just kind of enjoy life as it comes to them. And so this book was an opening for that, so people that are starting that new phase in life, becoming a new parent, can actually have some humor in it and be like, "Oh, I'm glad I'm not the only one that this has happened to," and that kind of thing. So
Okay. So like it's a comical way of like what to expect when you become a parent, something like that.
correct,
A
yeah,
warning, but in a funny way. All
exactly.
right. Uh-huh. Okay. Now, you mentioned that you deal with cancer patients. I don't know if you've mentioned already, but like, do you work on like in a medical field, or please
So
tell me more.
I run a nonprofit that provides medical transportation for cancer patients here in Middle Tennessee,
Oh. Mm-hmm.
and so we are their last line of hope. So
Mm-hmm.
um, when we step in, it's usually because everybody else has told them no, whether it's family, friends,
Oh.
insurance
Mm-hmm.
companies, whatever other transportation they've had has failed them, and so we step
Uh-huh.
in, and so they just getting to them where they're at their last wind and all resources extinguished. I've got to do something to restore that hope and get them fighting back again to fight for themselves. And so um yeah, so I deal with cancer patients that is a life or death situation. If they don't get the treatment,
Wow.
it's pretty much signing off that they're going to die. And so with
Mm-hmm.
providing the transportation, we are able to step into their lives and help them see the hope and be like, "Hey, I can do this." And so we
Mm-hmm.
we we keep it positive in our cars. We try not to bring up too much of the negativity. And so uh, because of that, that's how I look at life now. I'll get into arguments with people on different video games I play and be like, "Man, this is not that serious." I deal in life and death every day, and the key to life and beating cancer really is a positive attitude. And so I take that into my books as well, and try to make it just lighthearted and upbeat and stuff. So
Wow. Yeah, and I commend you for that, Chris. And God bless you for your, support with this type of what do you call this? Charity or
sure.
support of for those people that in need of help.
It's
Now,
as much of a
from
blessing to me as it is to them. So I'm honored to be able to do it. It really is a neat option that I was just showing was a need, and so we jumped in and helped out. So
wow, that's great, Chris. Now, I want to know. You mentioned that you were in that field. What event in life that made you transition into a writer? And you know what? I want to create a book, something like that.
um, so I went through a lot of hard life growing up,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
and um, I always thought it was my fault that I had done something that I shouldn't have done. There was
mm-hmm,
times that it was my fault. I did just do stupid
mm-hmm,
things, but there was a lot of it that wasn't my fault.
mm-hmm,
And so what had happened was my wife said that I had a lot of people coming to me asking for advice because they knew that I'd already been there. And so my
mm-hmm.
wife suggested, "Hey, why don't you put it in a book? And that way you don't have to keep repeating yourself." And I said, "Okay." She's like, "And while you're at it, why don't you do this one too?" And so she suggested doing a parenting book because my kid's a great kid, and everybody that meets her is like, "Wow, she's really well behaved. She's doing really good." And I can't take all the credit for that. Mom stepped in at the
Wow.
at the right time
Mm-hmm.
and has been an integral part in raising her. And so we just wanted to be able to help out the new parents. Those ones that really have no idea what's going on. Maybe they didn't have brothers and sisters or whatever it was, were they not keen to what's happening with babies and stuff. So we just wanted to try our hand and see how it work out, and here we are. So
Wow. Oh, that speaks a volume, actually, Chris. Having a kid that is well, with good attitude and things like that, that would make you or your book very authentic and unique, and it speaks more like makes you valid to write your book right now. So, it makes me wonder what the context of your book. So, can you please share us at least one line from the book?
So one of my favorite ones to share from the book is number 4. It says, "There's nothing that prepares you for the first poop," um, and any new parent will tell you that first time that they change that first diaper, they're like, "Oh my gosh, what has happened to my kid? I think something's died in him." It's horrible. But because you love the kid, you keep going and things like that. But that's just one line I like to share, just because I think it shows the humor in it. But it is a pretty, like, it's a topic that every person that has ever had a kid has dealt with, and it doesn't matter how many classes you go to,
Something
or how many
relatable.
talks you talk to, or how many times you
Mm-hmm.
talk to your mom or your brother or whoever's had kids. You're not prepared for that first poop. It doesn't happen. So that's one of my favorite ones to share out of that book.
Mm-hmm.
There are others, but yeah, that's one of my favorite
It
ones to share.
and it's also a way of telling the new parents that hey, it's normal, it
Right.
happens. So, right, all right. Now, for my last question, Chris, what does a typical day of writing look like for you? Do you have any rituals before you start writing
So
and
not
things like?
really.
Mm-hmm.
I still run my nonprofit, so that takes up most of my day. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of dabble in writing whenever I get free time. And usually I've already got it pretty well mapped out as to what I'm going to do. I'll have
Mm-hmm.
the notes and things like that of what I need to put into the book, of whatever's coming next. And so I'll
Mm-hmm.
type it out and be done with that portion of it, and then kind of wait till the next portion. So I'm not a full time writer at this moment. I'm wouldn't mind being one. Just staying at home writing
Mm-hmm.
books would be kind of fun. So I do have a couple other projects in the works that I spread my time amongst. So it's not all just dedicated to one thing. So
All right. Thank you so much for that, Chris. Now, I believe I have asked all the questions I have prepared for this session. That would conclude our interview for today. Now, for the last time, I want you to invite our audience right now to buy a copy of your book.
yeah, I would love to. So my book is available on lulu.com. They are my publishers. You can just search my last name and all of my books will come up. As as of the event for LA, there will be 6 available. There will be 3 of one series that are all random thoughts. There's the parenting book. There's the next step in parenting, which is teenagers. That's a whole new ball game, as I am
Oh,
finding out
wow.
recently. And then
Mm-hmm.
there's one about dating. And so I do invite people to check them out. That I think they're a lot of fun. They do challenge some thinking, make you want to look at things from a different perspective. And I think anytime people are looking at things from a different perspective, it makes the world a better place.
Right. Agree. Agree. Oh, yes. Okay, so everyone, that is Chris Erlendsson, the author of the book 101 Things New Parents Need to Know That Hospitals Won't Tell Them. Okay, the book is available on lulu.com and also on Amazon, or you can visit his website, that is www.manyhatsofcj.com. Again, that's www.manyhatsofcj.com. Again, thank you so much, Chris. We really enjoyed this author interview with you. As we say it here at Readers Magnet, we share your story with the world. Thank you so much, Chris. Bye.
Thank you, Mr. Mark.